All right, and we are live! Yay!
Yay!
So,
Woo!
first and foremost, today's guest, second ever guest on the podcast, by the way,
Mhm.
is our dear friend, Samantha Dillinger. She owns the Mystic Massage in Columbus, Georgia, still.
Yes.
And she has bloomed into a model with actually sponsored by an apparel brand.
Okay, yeah, all right. Cool.
And also has some stories about surviving a not so great relationship. And I guess we could kind of start from the beginning. So
Yeah.
as we were talking before the live, I known you almost a decade ago when you were with that relationship, and so much has changed.
Yes, it has.
So are you okay to start there, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So we can honestly, hair's going the wrong way. We can honestly go back a little bit further. And I went through a lot of childhood abuse. There was drug abuse. There was neglect. There was a lot of unfortunate medical abuse, not with me, but with my mom. And unfortunately, watching my mom go through an abusive relationship during that crucial time and like learning about relationships and how you handle people on your own, I kind of learned, unfortunately, abusive patterns that just carried into my own relationship. And I unfortunately sought out the people that I grew up with, good and bad, that led me to just kind of, what is it called? Re-victimization. So I essentially kept choosing these patterns that were safe for me because the unknown was more dangerous in my mind. And it just led me right to that person. And that person spent, let's see, I met him in 2022. 2012. My dates are all off. We separated in 2019 and we got officially divorced in, I want to say 2022. So it was a long time. I ended up with a daughter who was his biological daughter, my stepdaughter. He was cruel. He started with little things like, I need to make sure that you know how to do these things in case something happens to me. I know you're safe and you can take care of yourself. Then it became, it's not that I don't trust you, I don't trust other people, and I want to make sure you're safe. Then it became, well, if you're going to be on your phone when I'm not around, we can't have that because I was cheated on and she hid her phone from me. So that's a trauma thing for me. And me being mean, me being overly accommodating, I was like, I completely understand. And it just slowly built over time. And it took a long time for me to recognize that it was abuse. And I didn't even really recognize it was abuse until I left the relationship. I just knew that I was more unhappy than I was happy. The worst of it was I was working 4 jobs, 7 days a week, 12-hour days. He was blowing $300 a month on video game add-ons, telling me that I can't live without him and I'm too stupid to function out on my own, and telling all of these people. I got to the point where I would laugh and make fun of myself and call myself stupid. And when people would be surprised and say, no, you're not stupid, I would laugh and say, no, ask my husband. He tells me all the time, you're book smart, but you're street smart as shit.
Mm-hmm. That tends to be a cycle, a pattern, because you're in that relationship and you feel like you don't feel like you're worth anything. You don't feel like you almost feel like it's your fault for
Absolutely.
what's happening. And so then again, that like totally changes your character in that way, so that you're sitting here and you're like a totally different person, and you're like, where did this person come from? This isn't who I was when I was younger. This isn't who I got with, this isn't what my goal was, so you beat yourself down as well. And then it just becomes a pattern, like constantly. You feel like you're a doormat in the future, and it's really hard to get on your feet again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. My mom can attest to this. When I was younger, before the age of 8, when I was sexually assaulted, I was vibrant. I was bossy. I had no problem telling people how I felt, what I wanted, when I wanted it. and you couldn't convince me of otherwise. I was the kid who stood on the table and said, "Hi, I'm Sam. You're going to pay attention to me while I make whatever I want to make." And then I got sexually assaulted and everything changed and my personality just disappeared. And I suddenly cared about what people thought all the time. I was worried about getting in trouble. I became a pathological liar because I was so scared that the truth was going to get me in more trouble than whatever I could come up with. It took a long time to break those patterns, and it took active years of work.
Yeah. And I understand that. I'm not going to talk much about my situation, but I understand that how that feeling is, and it took me many years to get to that point. Starting out younger, and then it was probably, I want to say, at least a decade before I got myself in the position where I was, kind of taking control of my power, and then it still wasn't where I wanted it to be. So it's like I'm not who I want to be. Something needs to change. I need to, I went from, it was so crazy. I went from a completely introverted person to an extrovert. And then it's hard because then you're putting on a front of some kind, like a mask. Like, this is, everything's okay. I'm doing a mask on because everything's okay. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's a problem, it's like,
and it's almost like we try to convince ourselves that that's the real truth when our just reality isn't.
Yeah.
For me, mine wasn't a relationship trauma per se, but a familial one. Especially, you met me at the height of my stepfather falling off the ladder, and that's when everything exploded for me. Luckily, everything's good now. We were able to reconnect and rekindle, but it's almost as if, for me, it was just an event that exploded everyone's anger all at once. And that's when we found out how abusive, even.
So it became like a big boulder that kept rolling down the hill, and you couldn't control it anymore.
I love my family, but I can say that back then we weren't taught our feelings. In fact, I was the sensitive one in the family, and you see you laughing I was a really sensitive one in the family. And so what I've learned through kind of I'm going to say accidental abuse, because it's generational.
Right.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
It's true.
So it's I don't want to just blame my family the whole thing, but at the same time, it's just it was generational abuse that kept going on and on and on. And that one event blew up the whole family in a way.
And if you're going the spiritual realm, there's a high indicative of people that are empathic, that pull up narcissistic personalities in their life. For some reason, it's like you feel like you have to, heal them, or you have to, you change them. So that's like the empath narcissist relationship. And it's really easy for people who are very empathetic to get into a narcissistic relationship from one side. And then you just get kind of trapped in that relationship, in that cycle, because you're wanting to do some healing. You're wanting to, change.
You almost feel responsible for them.
Yes. Yeah. You feel like you're responsible for their actions.
And then you can even go into not necessarily abusive relationships, but relationships that were built on that ideology to begin with, and they just became comfortable. There are so many women, especially, who are perpetually and generationally taught that we can fix them. If we just work harder, if we give them patience, if we give them space, if we let them explore, we can fix them. And so the men get comfortable, or your partner gets comfortable with you doing everything for them, you being their support, you being everything. And when it's your turn, what do you mean? You're the solid. I don't know how to give that back. What are you talking about? And then it becomes just this incredibly unequal relationship. And it doesn't even have to be abusive. It's just built on unequal territory to begin with.
It kind of just winds itself into entanglement and codependency in a way.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And for me, for a long time, because I was the only one who knew how to feel my family, feelings, because, no one was taught us. I was sensitive. I thought all the anger that everyone else felt was on me. And there was so much guilt because I didn't know which feelings were mine.
Yeah. Because you couldn't differentiate between the different ones.
No.
Yeah. That's power thing when you're empath. You got to really learn to filter out other people's energy, other people's problems, other people's feelings, and it's really hard because you're just kind of wrapped up in it, and it's you just don't realize it until it
but
comes.
when you're out,
Mm-hmm.
when you're out, that's when the fun happens.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Oh,
For sure.
So I guess that goes right into the empowerment part. So Sam, how were you able to untangle yourself and become to the person you are today?
So as much as I would love to take credit for that, really a situation arose, and it's my daughter's story, so I don't like to tell my daughter's story for her.
That's understandable, yeah.
But something occurred between her and her father, and it gave us, because she was also being abused and neglected by him, the opportunity to get away. And we did. Legally, of course, I had no ground to keep her, so she went back to her grandparents in Washington.
Yeah.
But that was my opportunity to get out, and I had decided long before that I was going to get out. I was just waiting for my daughter to go to college, and as soon as she left, which would have been last year, I would have been gone. So really, my plan just jumped up a few years earlier than I planned.
Manifested a little faster in a way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Universe said, "Hey, you need to go," and I said, "I'm not ready," and they said, "Too bad." So it took a lot of work. I remember having like this whole breakdown because I said, if I'm going to leave, I need to make something of my life. I need to prove that I left for a reason. So I'm going to write down all the things that I want to do. And I sat there for 2 days and I couldn't think of a single dream, a single want, a single anything for myself that I wanted. And I realized that I had completely lost myself in this process. Mm-hmm. So that's what I started doing is anytime I thought of something I wanted to do, I wrote it down. Anytime I thought something interesting, I wrote it down. I combated my hatred of my body and my hatred of my own brain by I'm a big fan of exposure therapy. I don't know why, but I am. So before I even got into therapy, I was doing exposure therapy on myself, and I would force myself to get ready in the bathroom in front of my gigantic mirror, butt naked, while I listened to TED Talks about anything else, learning to say no. What was a good one? Grit and determination. I think at one point I listened to somebody do a poem about their daughter. Like I just listened to anything that had to do with mental growth while I forced myself to stare in the mirror at the thing that I hated the most. And over time, it went from gross to I don't like that to oh, that's kind of cute to me dancing butt naked in the mirror going, I'm the baddest bitch on the planet. So it took time and it took years, and I'm in therapy now. I finally got the diagnoses for my mental health that I needed. That has helped me explain a lot of things that didn't make sense when I was younger, that just attributed to continuing these issues. So the growth over 5 or so years has really just, I'm nowhere near where I was 5 years ago.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
The last time we kind of talked face to face was like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, I think I've seen your brother since then.
Yeah, you've seen my family more than me.
Yeah.
But like, what about your empowerment journey getting through, if you are comfortable?
I'm not comfortable at my past because of reasons
Of course
that I'll discuss outside of the podcast. But so my empowerment journey took a long time. I was already, and as I've jokingly said, I'm a Gen Xer. So Gen Xers were already feral anyways. So it's facts. We could do what we wanted. We didn't have to go in back to the house, whatever we wanted. There was really no supervision.
None.
So I did not have any type of supervision really.
We were locked outdoors till the streetlights came on.
Yep. And then you, of course, back then you didn't have you didn't have,
you had a loud voice and a bicycle.
Yeah, exactly. And so But I went from like I was a mouse. Like I said, I was very introverted in high school, extremely introverted. So much so that my kids do not believe me to this day that I was introverted. And I told them I had to ask your grandparents because they'll tell you I was very introverted, very, very bookworm. But it was almost like I had to escape. I
Yeah.
had to escape, and the best way to do it was escaping by books. So I was a
Same.
voracious reader. I would go to the library, and that would start in my empowerment, I guess, when I was younger. Is I would go to the library, and literally I would go to the library and I would like bring like a stack of books. Like we're talking, we're not talking 12, we're talking like 30 books. Okay. And I was like,
It froze on my screen, but it still froze your live.
yeah.
I was like,
So yeah, so basically I was like reading the books, getting entranced in these worlds, and so much so that I was learning more things. And then I got to the point where I was in high school and I ended up graduating top 10% of my class. And that was really a lot of work there because I was like, I focused on like doing something other than being stuck in my own thoughts, I guess. So I would, excel with that type of environment. And then after that, relationships, so forth, kind of turned me into a different person. So that I had to kind of like crawl out of the ashes of that, basically.
Phoenix it.
And I didn't get to any point where I was on that journey till I was in my late 20s. So it was probably, I would say, probably a good decade before I could actually start feeling my feet again and start, moving forward. And then it really didn't kickstart until I was basically in my late 40s. Seriously, that much time went by, and then finally came into my own. So I became a lot more extroverted. I was out there, putting myself out there
And now
rather
you're a
than
podcast.
hiding. Yeah. Rather than hiding myself, because it was like, I was always hiding, wearing frumpy clothing and things like that. Just, now I like wear a lot of bright clothes. And people was like, what the heck's going on here? But it was like, that was like a long journey. And then I just literally just one day just started my own business, 5 years now. And I said, I'm going to do this. I just sat and did it and set the goal and moved forward from there. And here we are 5 years later, where I wouldn't have even thought I would be where I'm at right now, starting out. So it was a definite long time for empowerment. So how did you get to the point where you started your own business? Like what point were you able to do that?
So it was also a series of unplanned events. These things just kind of happen and I roll with it. After I left my husband and my daughter was gone, I felt like I needed a 180 change. So I worked at Callaway. I was at the resort spa for 6 years. I quit there, started in a local spa in Columbus, and 5 days later, COVID hit. So we were closed for about 3 months. We opened back up. I built a little bit of clientele. We were doing really well, or so I thought. And she pulls us in and says, hey, we're closing in 2 weeks. COVID kicked us. And I was like, oh, okay. So after everything I've been through with managers, with bosses, with coworkers, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So on a whim, I decided to open my own spot. And Bree, Honey Aesthetics, she and I met at that local clinic. So we decided to do it together. And I took my tax return money and I used every cent of it to open the business. And we spent a couple weeks finding a brick and mortar. We got our licenses March 8th and we opened our doors April 22nd, 2021.
Oh, so the birthday's coming up.
Yeah, 3 years is coming up.
Awesome.
I remember when you first posted the photos of Mystic Massage and Honey Aesthetics, and it was so cute because it was one room and it had just like the moon in the back with your logo.
Yep.
And I think a salt lamp in the corner.
Yep.
And I want to celebrate how much you've grown from just like one massage table in a tiny room to just who you are and what you've done today.
Thank you. Yeah, we expanded last year. We brought in a nail tech. So we have a third in our office and we're looking for a fourth. So we're trying to make that fourth room occupied so we can have a full clinic spa. I know Bree is looking for a building to buy so we could have a lifetime spot.
Awesome.
So we're always working on growing. We're always working on improving. Anytime I want to try something new, we just go for it. And that's my favorite thing about life now is anytime I have a wild hair up my ass, we're just like, why not?
Kind of like how we started the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, I started as just a small candle company
Yeah,
to
I did
sell
too.
candles to my mom's roastery, and I said,
Yeah, I started out with a very small amount of product, very little startup capital, very little.
yeah,
Started selling at shows, just started networking at shows,
yeah,
started building my networking base. Just because of my extrovertedness, I was able to just like go and talk to people and not be
Yep.
scared about doing it and things like that. And it's doing this where we just started the podcast. That was like my like do it moment, which it was kind of crazy with that because I've always been kind of cautious about things like that. But it's like you know what? Things need to change. I need to that was my word for the year, growth. So I'm like
3 weeks later,
yeah,
you were in an empty office for the podcast.
yeah, exactly.
So the transformation happened really quickly, actually.
Yeah, and we actually love our, he's awesome. We're at the Den, and he is amazing landlord, inspiring himself. He's often a very creative person himself. So we're like super excited that it's like as soon as we met him, we're just like, this is it. This is the place for us,
So there's that transformation. And as you were talking about in your journey, Sam, about like the self-love transformation, what led you to modeling? Because I've been loving your photos.
Man, I don't know if I could do the modeling thing, man. I was like, whew.
That's honestly part of why I do it. Is it's proof that like big girls can do it, anybody can do it. Most of the work is work ethic and confidence, and if you got those two, you're good to go. Because I'm one of the shorter models. I'm 5'5", so like work doesn't always come my way because of how short I am. But being a plus size, that makes me a little more exclusive. So I tend to get bookings strictly because I am plus size, and having wavy hair helps, honestly, because I can do some hair stuff. So the modeling started really easily with the idea that people see your beauty before you see it. You're really quick to nitpick yourself, and other people are like, no, I love this about you. So I started paying my friend Alicia, who is a photographer, for shoots for myself. So I could see what I look like, and I could start to see what other people see when they look at me and kind of
like that artistic eye.
Yeah. And then over time, my friend Daisy, who is really good friends with Liz, who owns Queens of Paradise, Daisy linked us together, and my work with Liz just blew me up. And on a random whim, one of my Facebook friends had posted specifically looking for plus size models to walk in this show in Columbus. And I decided, why not? I will apply. And I made it. And that was the first time I walked. And that opened lots of doors.
I love that.
Yeah, and I thought that's like a big confidence booster too to get sit there. All these people are like looking at you and all that stuff. Yeah, man, that's awesome. I love that.
It's a lot of fun. And as someone who's also an extrovert, it gives me things to talk about. It gives talking points. It's a lot of fun. It gives me an excuse to run my mouth all day, and I'm with it.
Yeah. So what kind of like opportunities come up from your modeling?
I have the brand ambassadorship. I'm working on a second. My first brand ambassador, God, I am not working on it today. My first brand ambassadorship is with Moonlight Apparel. They are a streetwear company that is located in Atlanta. They are absolutely fantastic. A lot of their work is based in space ideas, futuristic ideas. We're all about community and family and collaboration. So it's really great to see that side of the business grow, and we get to help make decisions. So I'm really focused on the plus side of things and making sure that the clothes are plus size friendly. They have a comfortable fit, they're proper sizing. They look good on different types of plus size bodies because we're all shaped differently.
Yeah.
So I'm really working on that. And then I actually am doing a pop-up in Pont City Market on the 13th. So you guys may be able to see me there. And then the other one is with West McCoy Jeans. They are the first plus size denim company in the United States. They're also based in Atlanta. I have this amazing pair. I have a couple pictures of it on my Instagram. They are called the Distress Joyce jeans, and they're high-waisted black distress with a high flare, and they're so comfortable, and they are built for plus size bodies. So they take all the certain things into account, like the fupa,
Wow.
and the thigh to waist ratio, and make sure that it's a snug fit in the waist, and you don't feel like your thighs are suddenly like eating your vagina all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm
I
wrong.
love that though.
Tell me
It's
I'm
true.
wrong.
It is true. It is
You're
true.
not wrong.
It is
And
true.
all of a sudden your thighs are where they're not supposed to be, and I'm like, I have chub rub in a place I shouldn't have chub rub.
Or
Yeah.
like when you have just a really good pair of pants that fit just right, but the material sucks.
Yeah.
And so it just like trays.
I
Yeah.
hate it. Her denim is so high quality. It's so nice. So I love them both. It has led me to actually, I will be published soon. I'm working on a project with a friend of mine, Amir Leon, and we are working on, not just me, but several other models are working on a coffee table book that should be released in the next year. So I've been doing shoots with him. Some things from the shoots I have been authorized to post, but the ones that are going specifically in the book, I only get to see. But it's absolutely beautiful. It's fantastic. I feel so incredible having this opportunity and being able to really showcase plus size bodies, and the fact that every body is beautiful, and we should celebrate that, from disabled bodies to skinny bodies to tall bodies to fat bodies to tiny bodies to big bodies. It doesn't matter. A body is a body is a body, and it's all beautiful. I touch bodies every single day.
Yeah. Awesome. Body positivity. I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Considering I'm a plus size girl myself. So I
Same.
and it's hard to find things that fit you. Like she said,
Yeah.
it's hard to find those.
Mhm.
Or things that do fit are never of good quality.
Yeah.
Or they're frumpy. Why are
Yeah.
we going back? Like, the whole 2010s had this beautiful revolution of plus size fashionable fit clothing. And I just went into the store the other day, and why did I see what looked like Miu Miu's as t-shirts? I was like, why are we going back to 1990s frumpy, where the only thing we can look like is our plus size auntie who cooks biscuits every day?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Those are meant for biscuit shirts where you get flour and dough and grease all over them, and then you throw them away. We don't wear those to go out to dinner. Come on,
Or-
do better.
Or it's like those shirts that have the cutout in the arms, like a receptionist.
Oh
and you're-
yeah.
God,
Yeah,
I
those are
desperately
horrible.
hate open shoulders. What is that? Why is that a thing? I don't.
It's like I want to show skin.
But
I'm
not
doing-
in that. I mean, it's like showing ankles in the 1700s. I don't care about a shoulder. Give me a shoulder pad. This shit is cold.
How dare you show your knees?
Yeah.
How dare you
Wow.
show your toes?
So that kind of goes into the creation part, right? So what are you creating outside of like the modeling and the business? Like, are you creating something else, or
So I am, but I am kind of keeping it quiet for a little while.
down low?
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big thing. I'm not gonna lie. It's something that's gonna take like the majority of my 30s to complete.
Oh,
wow.
But when I'm done, it's gonna be big. So that's
love
my
that.
main focus. So modeling will be in the spring or the summer and the winter primarily, because my spring and fall are kind of taken up now. But between that and the business, those are my primary concerns. But of
Cool.
course, I have the wonderful Eric and his crazy behind, and the dogs and the cats. So there's plenty to keep me busy over here.
Yeah, I was actually about to say, like, the transformation from going from one relationship that did not serve you to, I see the way you guys talk online and how cute it is in your banter. And it's just like, what's the differences besides like the ones that I see behind a screen? Like I see
Safety.
an safety.
That's
Yeah.
the big one. He is like home. So my house is my refuge. That's where I can unmask. That's where I can walk around in my underwear singing show tunes at 1 a.m. That's where I can lay in my bed and cry because my depression just hit me. That's where I can crawl on the floor and be like, oh dear God, my back hurts and I can't tell my clients that I'm in pain. It's where I feel. And he's the same thing. I can feel anything and it's safe. It's never you're overreacting. It's never it's your fault, not mine. You're being crazy. Everything I say is valid. Everything I say is worth paying attention to. I am seen. I am heard. I am supported in whatever crazy idea. Modeling. Oh, I opened the business 3 months into our relationship, and he spent a year every Monday and Tuesday religiously talking me off the ledge that I was going to fail, and then watch me giggle Friday and Saturday because I'm super booked on the weekend that basically covered the entire week that I didn't make any money. And I'm like, I'm fine. And then Monday, Tuesday, do it all over again. He watched me go through that. He watched me go through my mental health. He watched me start this next project. He watched me do modeling. He's watched me just exist and grow, and he's done nothing but support it and say, hey, if you need support, if you stumble, I'm right here. I'm here if you need me.
And I just want to go back to the point where you're like, I am safe. I am this. I want to just, we are, I am, etc. Right? I just love how you're just peeling back the conditioning that you had. You're like deconditioning in your own safety. And again, just from the last time I even spoke to you before this, so much change.
Oh my God. I remember so clearly being that pick-me girl that was bragging about how I'm the only one who can handle him. And now I'm like, baby, that is not the flex you think it is. That's saying, congratulations, I can handle abuse better than you can. Like, that's not a thing. So
I remember you saying that you were proud at how low maintenance you can be.
I'm not maintenance. I learned very quickly it was because I was abused and not allowed to ask for what I want. My lazy behind, he will be cozy in bed and I'm like, how much do you love me? What do you want? Can you go get my water out of the den and maybe grab me a bowl of cereal on your way back in since you're already out? Maybe, kind of, yeah. And he does things just because he knows that I like them. And I learned that big difference between your younger dating years and your older dating years of well, if I tell him or if I tell them, it doesn't mean the same thing because they're only doing it because I want them to. How are they supposed to know that's what you want if you don't tell them? So I told him I love pickles. I love pickles. It's weird how much I love them.
Can you drink the juice?
Yes, I used to, when I was a little kid, like 5 or 6, my dad would buy a gallon jar of the full pickles. I would eat the entire jar of pickles in a day and chug the juice before he woke up the next morning.
I can see him doing that.
I reeked of pickles for years. So I still love pickles. Like I will literally just go to the pickle jar and grab a fork and just start eating pickles because I want to. So anytime I've had a bad day, I will come home from work and there will be flowers and a card and one of those little gas station bag of sliced pickles on the counter. And he's like, yeah, it's a bad day. If I had a really bad day, there's 2 bags of pickles and it immediately makes me happier. He knows every order. There was one day, I'm very particular about my food because I have really bad disordered eating. So if my stomach doesn't want it, it will throw it up. I have no option in this matter. So I really wanted a ham, turkey, and roast beef sandwich from Subway, just like a regular club, ham, turkey, roast beef. and they didn't have roast beef, but they had bologna. And I hate bologna, but he could have just gotten me the ham and turkey and I would have been happy. And he went, nope, you ain't about to get me caught up. I'm going to go to another store. I'm going to go find her. I'm not going to get in trouble for this one. I'm going to get this one. God forbid I spend $12 on a sandwich and she doesn't eat it. He does not play. If I want something the way I want it, he will go above and beyond. And even if I don't ask for it, he'll just do it because he knows my love language is acts of service. Take something off my plate, make it easier for me. He'll do the laundry. He'll wash the dog. I have this other thing I'm doing, this other project I'm working on. I'm out of the house 3-4 days a week now, and I don't get home till like 11 o'clock at night. He has now taken over dinner because we made a deal because it's weird, but I have dishwashing trauma from my ex-husband. Because at one point he like stood over me and made me wash the same set of dishes for 4 hours because they weren't clean enough. And he refused to cook or clean because I wouldn't appreciate it as much if he did it more often. So I was working 12 hours a day, coming home, cooking dinner, doing the kids' homework with her, and then cleaning. And I couldn't keep up with it. So we lived really gross, and that really grosses me out. So I have really bad dishwasher trauma. So we made a deal. I will cook all the meals and I'll do most of the laundry if I never have to wash a dish a day in my life. And that's the deal we made. And he still does the dishes and does not make me work through my trauma unless I feel like doing the dishes to make it easier on him. Mm-hmm. And he now cooks 4 days a week.
That's amazing.
And his logic is I literally only am working 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and I work from home. You are doing work and these 2 huge projects right now that are taking up your entire life. I can pick up the slack. It's not that big of a deal. We're a team. I know come summer, you're going to be able to do way more than I'm going to be able to do because you're going to have a lot more free time. So it's just a balance, and you don't need to apologize for resting or for prioritizing what you need to prioritize. It's not a big deal. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? Why are you being nice to me? Why are you not yelling at me?
Because again, that conditioning.
I still have so much financial trauma that I will not take money from him. Very rarely do I take money from him, and I take a tally and I pay him back every time. And he's like, I make 3 times your income. It's not a big deal. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care that it'll take me 6 months to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back.
Because that's on you now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it.
He never has given me the inclination that he would do this, but because of my trauma, I'm still prepared for the day when he holds it against me. I gave you money. I did this for you. You owe me. Anytime my dad got mad at me or my stepdad got mad at me, he would help me when he wasn't mad at me, and he would give me money to help pay my bills when I was in my early 20s and struggling. And then if he got mad at me, I would have to pay it back plus interest. Mm-hmm. My ex-husband made me work 4 jobs, didn't work, but had no problem spending $300 a month on video game add-ons, while I had to cry over whether or not I could pay the electric bill or buy groceries. And then I felt guilty for buying groceries because I could have paid the electric bill. Mm-hmm. Like, these were the things I was dealing with. And he was like, you're being a baby. Get over it. It's not my fault. You're dumb. Okay. And now this one's like, hey, I make more money. I'm going to pay all the house bills. You just take care of your bills. And if you need help, just let me know. Randomly sends me like $20 for lunch. Will have flowers delivered to the office because I had a bad day. Will surprise me with random dates and vacations, or just like a bath if I don't feel good. These are things that are completely foreign to me. And he speaks so much love into you that I just have to be like, what you said, bro. Because I don't know. I can't talk about it. So I'm like, samesies. You want me to just quote tweet you and just say same? I don't know what to do here. Like I said in our vows, I have to go first, because if you go first, I'm gonna be like, I got nothing. Whatever he said. I have to go first. Otherwise, I will be shown up and I will not be able to say anything. I'll be like, all right, I'm done. Wedding. We're going to go to the reception. Wedding's done. I got nothing.
It's like love poems, acts of grace, godly devotion. I do.
Oh, yeah. And then even greater on top of that is we both have this incredible understanding that it is completely irrational to expect one person to give you absolutely everything you need, whether that's a friendship, whether that's a familial relationship, whether that's, because we're poly, another partner. I am such a high maintenance, high attention needy person. It is ridiculously presumptive to assume that he can give me as much attention as I demand on a regular day. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. And with me being bipolar, when I go manic, you know,
I do.
Sam
Bipolar onesies.
Oh. And that poly comes in handy because he straight up told me this last episode, I'm in a depressive episode. I have like zero drive. And I was like, bet, I ain't gonna ask you at all. I'm not gonna pressure you. I'm gonna go find 5 other people. See you later.
So
Men,
I love that.
it don't matter. Equal opportunity ass is how I like to prepare myself. Except white men. We can eliminate those. They gave me too much trauma. They gave me complex PTSD. We're good. I don't need you.
Oh, that empowerment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went from being an apologist for every feeling I had to, bitch, I said what I said. It may be wrong, but I'm standing on what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Taking that power.
Yeah.
Taking the power.
Mm-hmm.
And again, from me, it wasn't just it wasn't a relationship for me, but I was actually, and I will admit this, I was actually accidentally, again, that generational trauma, emotionally abusive to my partner.
Yeah,
I really was.
A little bit.
And
all I knew was to get angry.
All I knew was to get angry. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, my empowerment was that he treated me the same no matter how mean I got.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally just woke up one day, I cried to him because I was like, I don't know why you stayed. You should not. It's like you had every opportunity to not support me anymore. And then like for him to send me a text that says, I believe in my future with you. I chose you because I know who you actually are. I would cry right now.
Right?
I'm so used to being abandoned.
Yeah.
And so for someone, no matter how much I wanted them to leave me, because I said, oh, I don't deserve you, for them to stay anyways and to prove me wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the thing I love about Eric, like how he treats me and how he makes me feel is great. But I love him for who he is as a person. He is kind. He is patient. He doesn't get angry. He will just exit the conversation. I'm such a reactionary person that my first reaction is to get loud, even if I don't intend to. I'm an Italian New Yorker. I'm a naturally loud person. I don't mean to yell, but you can tell when it's regular, just animated talking and when it's yelling. And if I get to that point and he's like, all right, you're getting a little heated, I'm gonna hop off the phone. We'll talk when you've calmed down a little bit and when we've had a little bit of time to evaluate the situation. Fine. Yeah. And I will get off the phone and I will freak out for a couple hours and then come back and be like, you were right. You're right. And like the way he approaches people, the way he understands people, his giving nature, like there are so many things about him that make me want to be better, that make me want to do better because of who he is as a person and what he brings to the relationship. I feel like I need to step it up and like elevate my personhood to make sure that like we're on the same level.
I kind of like that. We all just kind of transformed into like a higher, I guess, standard for ourselves as well in our own little way.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, even
and then it's feeling that power too, come back.
Yeah,
like reclaiming your power. That's the key. You can feel that, just, we as women in general gave away our power a long time ago.
Yep.
And we're just getting to the point where we're getting it back again.
Yeah.
But it was, You know how the
I
history
mean-
was. I mean, women couldn't vote for like the longest time.
And
Women
you've
couldn't
been here
have
longer
bacon.
than we have, and the last few,
Yeah.
even the last few years have been,
Yeah.
despite political things that we wonon't get into,
Yeah.
it's still.
It's women take and now I realize now the more people I talk to, the more people I connect with, that women are taking their power back.
Absolutely.
At all walks of life, all ages are taking their power back.
I mean, you said in your bio even that like I decided in my 50s, like a lot of people around this time would just be like, well, my life's done, even though you could live to 100. And you're like,
Yeah.
in my 50s, I'm
Yeah.
taking control.
Yeah.
And that's so inspiring.
Taking control of, you know, and that's what I, with my kids, I've inspired them because they'll tell me, you know, Mom, you know, I can't believe you're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, a dream never dies. You
No.
just got to, and dream never dies. You can live your dream, whatever age you are. I mean, there's people that are going to college when they're like their 90s, you know, that's like insane.
Oh,
But you know,
yeah.
you've seen that. It's just really amazing to me. And I've noticed changing in my own children as I've been empowering myself and transforming myself. I've been seeing my children change and taking their power back, and they're inspired by me too. And so that's like the best feeling ever when you're a mom, you
And-
know, to inspire your children.
And you inspire me.
Yeah.
Like we've done this for 3 weeks, but we met
Yeah.
like almost a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even in those little tiny moments of conversation, like I'm your kid's age.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you could be my mom.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
And it's just like, even while you're taking your power back, it's not just like your immediate family, it's everyone who's
That's what
like
I've been
touched
told.
your soul in a way.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. I mean, I choose to be a little humble sometimes about that, but I just had one of my friends tell me, you know, you got elder energy. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not even old enough to be an elder. They're like, it doesn't matter how old you
Soul
are.
doesn't have age.
It doesn't matter how old you are to take that elder and lead people and guide people to where they need to go.
Yep.
As in itself, empowerment in
Yeah.
self.
I think all three of us are mystics, right? In a way.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, you're literally mystic massage.
This tattoo is for that exact reason. It's the maiden mother crone aspect of the triple moon of womanhood. And that was because I can't have children of my own. So I've decided to just mentor the younger generation and help guide them and feel their power and have boundaries and learn the things that
You're a mother of
from the
many.
things that I had to go through so they don't have to go through it themselves.
And crone energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got crone energy going, and sometimes you're just put into that position and you don't really expect it or ask for it. It just kind of happens.
And-
you know, that crone.
And it's just like, I think everyone has a little bit of each, where you have to, when you're the maiden and you're naive and you're exploring yourself, and then when you're nurturing just the trauma and the effects of what you've been through as your naivety.
Yeah.
And now it's just like that wisdom that you can just.
And then when you're a crone, you don't give a shit what people think either. They're just like, whatever.
Honestly, that's my favorite part about aging is the older I get, the less fucks I give, and the more.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very true. Yeah, you know, even speaking from even Gen X point, and then Gen X are that way. They're known for that type of behavior too. Like they just give no fucks.
Yeah.
They don't care. You know, they're just like,
We've been through like 6 wars, quite a few terrorist attacks, mass casualty incidents, mass shootings. What do we have to panic about anymore?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Financial crises, like really, come on now.
And it's all just energetic in a way. It really is.
Well, the energy needs to shift. That's why, one of the reasons we brought the podcast about is like, and shifting that energy, bringing people in that have empowered themselves or empowering others right now, because that's really what we need. And it's also building a community, a safe community for people to stand together and, support each other, because there's so much now where there's division now going on in the world today. You really need that connection.
Age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
Time for it to come back.
Is it sad that anytime I hear the Age of Aquarius, I think of that song at the end of the 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Okay.
And just the whole scene and everyone in white linen just dancing in a field screaming the Age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's weird or if it's just me.
I'm pretty close to that generation, so that's the first thing that pops into my brain.
Age of Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Girls just running through a field in a white linen shirt, like, oh my.
I'm a little bit. Oh, I'm a little bit newer. Like I mean, I wasn't in that frame. I wasn't in that frame of life where I was, where I was doing, the Woodstock and all that stuff. But I mean, my parents are actually from that time frame, But yeah, but I really respect that because that's one of the revolutions. We were just discussing this. Apparently, like we're in 2024 right now.
Yeah.
1964 is when they had the last revolution. So we're talking literally 60 years later, and we're seeing beginnings of a revolution in a way. So it's kind of like
a few years ago, honestly, when they first really started coming for Roe v. Wade and we had the Women's March, I feel like that was really the first big show. That and the Me Too movement were like the first big showings of third wave feminism.
Yeah. And again, not to get political, but honestly, if you don't agree,
everything was political.
That's the sad thing. But it's like even the BLM movement in 2020 during COVID.
Yeah.
How people chose to stand together for what they believed in and what felt right. Like that's amazing.
And then also I'm pointing out Standing Rock.
Yeah. Standing Rock.
That connection to those people where they
really saw the
water.
Yeah. And people are trying to sue California for their oil use.
Justifiably. Let's be real, justifiably.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like our whole country, it sucks so much because we can have so much community if there were so many internal forces that were just breaking everyone apart.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much accountability and acknowledgement that needs to be done that we're just not doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like we always look out. And I remember learning in class that we were literally taught in high school and middle school that the United States is the police of the world. Mm-hmm. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Big stick diplomacy from Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just, again, it's that now we have, honestly, everything, the law of polarity, every bad comes with good. We now have the technology and the awareness that we can come back together and empower to transform, to create a new and better future together.
Yep. That's what a lot of people are doing now.
Yeah.
They're realizing the need for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that like my generation and generation, what is it? Alpha? Yeah. Gen Z, millennials, and Gen Alphas are really kind of taking that on. And I really appreciate that. Like, that's something that I'm really excited about for the future generations is taking that on and really being like, society is bullshit. We need to change it.
Yeah. That's what the kids are doing. I mean, my generation, Gen X, is kind of the last generation where we're doing, kind of that revolution, and then we're kind of inspiring the younger generations to kick back and do that, And
it's like, I love you, but I love how our generations are now kind of keeping you guys accountable, in a way.
Because let's be real, the baby boomers and the Gen Xers kind of fucked it up for the rest of us.
Well, boomers, I'd have to agree. Boomers kind of started the slide, but they always say that the Gen X was the forgotten generation anyways, because we were just not seen, not heard.
Literally.
Yeah, because we were boomers kids. So there's that whole mindset generation there and back in that boomer age.
I feel like Gen X is like Gen Z, in which Gen Z feels like it's an in-between generation.
Yeah, that's
a lot of us call ourselves Zillennials, depending on where you're at.
A lot of people are feeling, but I feel like the Gen X people and the younger generations can also, they also can work together as well because of the fact of they were the ones that really didn't have any judgment or anything back in the day now. So that they can kind of like, lift the gateway open we can open the gateway for you guys, and you guys can take over, because we're getting to the point where you're getting old too. We're getting old too. So I mean, we need that, and we need
Girl,
that
I need
type
some
of
Bengay when I go on these marches.
yeah.
So icy hot.
Right? I need some snacks. I need some boosts. I need some Pediasure. I gotta stay hydrated. I can't just be out here running around. I get winded. My
I
knees
still bring
hurt.
the pre-sun pouches. Let's be real.
3 miles in, my hip is going, and I'm just like, damn, I gotta live.
Like, I really do think like the Gen X started this kind of like opening movement to baby boomers and generations before always believed in seen and not heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And now it's just like
Now there's being more
millennials are now
heard.
like really, really,
there's
really
heard.
loud. And
Yeah.
then Gen Z got even louder.
Yeah.
And then Gen
So
Alpha
it's
is
just
even
kind of
getting
like
loud.
it's
Yeah.
just kind of snowballing and going forward. So yeah. Anyways, we really I'm really excited that we were able to talk to you today. It's been awesome. And to have you experience what you experienced and to come out ahead of that.
Your
It is
bravery.
amazing. And you're inspiring to others, because you literally are walking that walk. You're walking the walk.
You're not just talking the talk. Literally, you're catwalking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is true.
You're walking it and showing that, you can do what you want to do, even if you're beaten down or you feel like you're not able to get out of it. You're able to do that and show that, because you're proof positive that you can do that.
You're literally talking your story.
Yeah. I mean, you can literally, it's a hard struggle of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and also acknowledging that there are so many worse things than you can be than dead. So it's a fun little balance, but
Yeah.
I really believe in self-assuredness and really knowing yourself above anybody else, being your own best friend. I have a joke that Eric has to compete with me over who loves me more. I will always be my number one fan, my number one supporter, my best friend, because I know me better than anyone. And as long as I trust my instincts, I'm good.
So
Yes,
you are, etc.
You are, etc.
I am, etc. I'm never ending, continuing.
All right. Sorry to cut you off, but we do have to go ahead and close you off here soon.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? We know we'll have links down in the description below, but how can people find you?
Yeah.
So there are a couple different ways with the business. If you would love to get work from me, I would love to work with you. You can reach me at mysticmassage_GA at Instagram, or you can reach my website at mysticmassagega.com. There is also, if you would like to see my modeling or just survival things, my Instagram is diolin, DIOLIN _AUDE, and then I'm Samantha Dillinger on Facebook. I'm very open about everything that I've been through, all of my mental health, my physical diagnoses, all the things. I have no shame about it. There's no reason to be ashamed of your life. You've lived it exactly how you needed to live it. And yeah, that's me.
All right. Awesome.
And for us, we actually just created a link tree. So if you go to link.tree, I guess it is, you can find the ETC podcast. You'll find all of our things from the Kickstarter we're about to start with.
Launch a Kickstarter.
Yep. And later on the Patreon.
Yes, we're doing a Patreon as well. So if you guys would like to support us in that, keep an eye out for the preview page so you guys can kind of see where we're going with that. Yep. We're going to be kicking that off here before the end of the month. So
yep. And we're going to be on every major podcast platform.
Yay! I'm a Spotify addict, so I'm all about it.
And then if you want to see me and Caitlin in person, we are actually going to be in Kalamazoo, Michigan this weekend at the Rock Your World Expo.
Yes.
So if you guys want to see us there and in person, live in person, we will be selling our wares and talking about the podcast and doing some readings and such. So if you guys are close, local, and you want to see us in person, let us know, say hi, and we'll be glad to see you guys.
And of course, you can always grab us from our personal
pages.
I'm Art Bard Co.
And I am Earth Soul Alchemy.
And it was fun having you.
It was awesome having you, Samantha, and it was nice meeting you.
It was a
Thank you
joy,
so
my
much.
beauties. Hopefully we can do it again, and I will talk to you soon.
All right.
too.
Talk to you
Bye.
soon.
Bye.
This is always the worst. There it is. End stream.